Today is June 30th, 2025, and this is Read Through the Bible.
And we had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
We went to Capitol Hill Baptist Church. Mark Dever did preach on the second half of Revelation 19. It's really, really good. Service was great, 2 hours long. Sang 9 hymns, 4 or 5 times of prayer, some silence. It was different, but super encouraging, super edifying.
It was really good. We really enjoyed it. It was packed with people.
Yeah, it sure
Amazing.
was.
Yeah.
Sure was. Met a couple guys from 9 Marks Ministries that we had heard about, but never met.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then we went to the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum and saw the first plane that the Wright brothers successfully flew.
That was really cool.
That was very cool. And then we also saw the spacesuit that Neil Armstrong wore when he said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
Yeah, we went to the National Gallery of Art as well.
Yeah, that was
I think the
really
biggest thing
good.
we had like a web page up, and we're kind of looking
like
at some
an
of the paintings and getting
audio tour
audio
kind of
from
thing.
what was, and we're kind of looking around. All of a sudden, we went into the Monet room.
Monet and Renoir and Degas and Cézanne. The Impressionist part was my favorite.
I think by far that was the highlight of the Art Museum.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're here to read through the Bible, and we're reading today Deuteronomy 22 and 23. And it's like we're back in Exodus and Leviticus.
Yep. So Deuteronomy 21 through 25 is a section of various laws.
Yeah, in fact, your summaries that you've written down are just
various laws.
Various laws. And I have written various laws too, and then I put parentheses.
Yeah,
I just put various other things in there. But boy, if you put down various laws, you'd be just fine. And again, like we said in Leviticus and in Exodus, the key here is not to sweat the small stuff. Let it go past, kind of catch a flavor of Jewish culture. That's where it's going to benefit you the most. What did the Jews need to do? What did God require them to do? Because it was for the Jews. That's what He's requiring them. So we're on Deuteronomy chapter 22.
Yep. Okay, here we go. You shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep going astray and ignore them. You shall take them back to your brother. And if he does not live near you, and you do not know who he is, you shall bring it home to your house, and it shall stay with you until your brother seeks it. Then you shall restore it to him.
I think it's just kindness to your brother. Like if something's lost, then what you do is you gather it, you kind of put it in lost and found, wait for them or you chase them down and try to help them what they've lost.
Yeah. Verse 3, and you shall do the same with his donkey, or with his garment, or with any lost thing of your brother's which he loses and you find. You may not ignore it. You shall not see your brother's donkey or his ox fallen down by the way and ignore them. You shall help him to lift them up again.
A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. I think just keep the sexes different.
Mm-hmm. If you come across a bird's nest in any tree or on the ground with young ones or eggs, and the mother sitting on the young or on the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young. You shall let the mother go. But the young you may take for yourself, that it may go well with you and that you may live long.
Oh, that seems kind of cruel.
It does.
But it's God's law, and there's got to be some reason for that. I don't know. Verse 8, when you build a new house, you shall make a parapet for your roof, that you may not bring the guilt of blood upon your house if anyone should fall from it. Like put rails up.
So rails along on the edge. Okay. Verse 9, you shall not sow your vineyard with 2 kinds of seed, lest the whole yield be forfeited, the crop that you have sown and the yield of the vineyard. You shall not plow with an ox and a donkey together. You shall not wear cloth of wool and linen mixed together.
Not sure what that's all about, but just keep everything together. You shall make for yourselves tassels in the 4 corners of your garment, with which you cover yourself. And I think it was in Leviticus someplace where it talked about the blue tassels are just reminding you to obey.
Okay, verse 13. If any man takes a wife and goes into her and then hates her and accuses her of misconduct and brings a bad name upon her, saying, I took this woman, and when I came near her, I did not find in her evidence of virginity, Then the father of the young woman and her mother shall take and bring out the evidence of her virginity to the elders of the city in the gate. And the father of the young woman shall say to the elders, I gave my daughter to this man to marry, and he hates her. And behold, he has accused her of misconduct, saying, I did not find in your daughter evidence of virginity. And yet this is the evidence of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloak before the elders of the city. Then the elders of that city shall take the man and whip him, and they shall fine him 100 shekels of silver, and give them to the father of the young woman, because he has brought a bad name upon a virgin of Israel. And he shall be his wife. She shall be his wife. He may not divorce her all his days. But if the thing is true, that evidence of virginity was not found in the young woman, then they shall bring out the young woman to the door of her father's house, and the men of the city shall stone her to death with stones, because she has done an outrageous thing in Israel by whoring in her father's house. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. There's purge the evil
Yeah,
again.
we're going to see that several other times in this chapter. But there's rules for virginity, I guess. So if a man is found lying with a wife of another man, both of them shall die. The man who lay with the woman and the woman. So shall you purge the evil from Israel. Sounds like John 8 and the woman caught in adultery, but it was just the woman who they brought before. They should have brought both of them before Jesus.
Verse 23, if there is a betrothed virgin and a man meets her in the city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out to the gate of that city, and you shall stone them to death with stones. The young woman, because she did not cry for help, though she was in the city, and the man, because he violated his neighbor's wife. So you shall purge the evil from your midst.
But if in the open country a man meets a young woman who is betrothed, and the man seizes her and lies with her, then only the man who lay with her shall die. But you shall do nothing to the young woman. She has committed no offense punishable by death. For the case is like that of a man attacking and murdering his neighbor, because he met her in the open country, and though the betrothed woman cried for help, there was none to rescue her.
If a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed, and seizes her and lies with her, and they are found, then the man who lay with her shall give to the father of the young woman 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has violated her. He may not divorce her all his days.
A man shall not take his father's wife, so that he does not uncover his father's nakedness. So, boy, I think just various laws is pretty appropriate and good here in terms of summing this up. But I think a lot of it's protecting against adultery and sexual immorality, just kind of with people getting married or betrothed or whatever. Again, don't sweat the small stuff, but catch the flavor of how there's Moses and God is trying to protect and help the Israelites in their laws. Okay, chapter 23. No one whose testicles are crushed or whose male organ is cut off shall enter the assembly of the Lord.
Verse 2. No one born of a forbidden union may enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. Wow. None of his descendants may enter the assembly of the Lord.
Yeah, and right here cuts against our Americanism that we think everybody's individual, but here is consequences of fathers' sins.
Wow, to the 10th generation.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, no Ammonite or Moabite may enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. None of them may enter the assembly of the Lord forever, because they did not meet you with bread and with water on the way when you came up out of Egypt, and because they hired against you Balaam the son of Beor from Pethor of Mesopotamia to curse you. Numbers 22 through 24. But the Lord your God would not listen to Balaam. Instead, the Lord your God turned the curse into a blessing for you, because the Lord your God loved you. You shall not seek their peace or their prosperity all your days forever. I mean, just this might give you insight into generational Middle Eastern hostility. That's why the peace in the Middle East is so difficult. Just even this idea of a 10th generation. Just know this is the Montagues and Capulets. Like this is just sort of how it is.
Yeah, and so far in verses 1 through 8, we've been talking about different requirements for people who may not enter the assembly.
Yeah.
You shall not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother. You shall not abhor an Egyptian, because you were a sojourner in his land. Children born to them in the third generation may enter the assembly of the Lord.
When you are encamped against your enemies, then you shall keep yourself from every evil thing.
If any man among you becomes unclean because of a nocturnal emission, then he shall go outside the camp. He shall not come inside the camp. But when evening comes, he shall bathe himself in water as the sun sets. And as the sun sets, he may come inside the camp.
Yep. Those sensitive subjects of Leviticus.
Yep.
You shall have a place outside the camp, and you shall go out to it. And you shall have a trowel with your tools. When you sit down outside, we're talking about, we have done some backpacking, and you dig your hole, you do your business, and then you cover your hole up. That's what we're talking about. And you shall have a trowel with your tools. And when you sit down outside, you shall dig a hole with it and turn back and cover up your excrement, because the Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and to give up your enemies before you. Therefore, your camp must be holy, so that he may not see anything indecent among you and turn away from you.
Huh. Wow. The Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp.
That's why you need to keep it clean.
Right. Verse 15, you shall not give up to his master a slave who has escaped from his master to you. He shall dwell with you in your midst, in the place that he shall choose, within one of your towns, wherever it suits him. You shall not wrong him.
This reminds me of Philemon.
Yeah.
Just sort of, this is what was done in Jewish law, not so. In Roman law, it should have been done. So Paul was following Roman law, not Jewish law. None of the daughters of Israel shall be a cult prostitute, and none of the sons of Israel shall be a cult prostitute. You shall not bring the fee of a prostitute or the wages of a dog into the house of the Lord your God in payment for any vow, for both of these are an abomination to the Lord your God.
You shall not charge interest on loans to your brother, interest on money, interest on food, interest on anything that is lent for interest. You may charge a foreigner interest, but you may not charge your brother interest, that the Lord your God may bless you in all that you undertake in the land that you are entering to take possession of it.
If you make a vow to the Lord your God, you shall not delay fulfilling it, for the Lord your God will surely require it of you, and you will be guilty of sin. But if you refrain from vowing, you will not be guilty of sin. You should be careful to do what has passed your lips, for you have voluntarily vowed to the Lord your God what you have promised with your mouth. I just think about the sermon yesterday when Mark Dever was talking about how Jesus, the words on his belt were faithful and true. Or the word the horse was faithful and true. Jesus was faithful and true. It just talked about how God is a God of truth, and we, of all people, ought to be people of honesty.
Yeah.
I think is what it's talking about, to be people of our word.
If you go into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat your fill of grapes, as many as you wish, but you shall not put any in your bag, so you can't take them out. If you go into your neighbor's standing grain, you may pluck the ears with your hand, but you shall not put a sickle to your neighbor's standing grain.
Just go and
various laws.
Pick some for your hand. Yeah, various laws.
And you can pick some of the ones that stand out to
But just catch what the Jewish culture is like. This is the culture in which Jesus came into the world. Many of these things, right? This is Old Testament law. It's not directly applicable to us. So even as I mentioned this whole Philemon and slave thing, it doesn't apply to us. It didn't apply even to them back then. So just catch these as they are. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just enjoy the reading. And we're hoping to have another good time in Washington, D.C. today.
Okay.
And we will see you tomorrow with another update. Okay, bye-bye.